Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our academic forum. We're going to allow a few minutes for all of you to check in, but I just wanted to say that we look forward to providing you with information and answering your questions. I'm Mark Oppenheim with the Center for University Advising, and we'll be getting started in just a few minutes, so thank you for your patience. For those of you just joining us, my name is Mark Oppenheim. I'm the Dean for the Center for University Advising at Hofstra, and we are happy to be hosting this informational forum for you. We're going to be getting started in just a couple of minutes, so we appreciate your patience and look forward to giving you information and answering all of your questions. Thank you. We'll get started shortly. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. We are going to get started with this morning's session. Welcome to our academic forum regarding the fall semester at Hofstra, and specifically our fall academics and schedule of courses. We are here for you this morning to be able to give you some helpful information about the fall schedule and some information that will be helpful as you plan for your academics when the semester begins on Monday, August 24th. My name is Mark Oppenheim, and I serve as the Dean for Hofstra's Center for University Advising, and I'll be leading this morning's session, which will take place between now and 12:30. We will be using the Q&A function in just a couple of minutes to encourage you to share your specific questions. Please keep in mind that this morning's forum is dedicated to the academic experience, and we want you to share questions that speak to your concerns about or seeking answers about your fall schedules, courses, and specifically information relating to your experience as a student in our DeMatteis school. And so I'm excited to let you know about our two other panelists who are here with us, and that includes Dr. David Rooney, who is the Associate Dean for our DeMatteis School, and David Renz, who is one of our success advisors with the Center for Academic Excellence. The three of us will be answering your questions this morning. Before we invite you to share questions through our Q&A, I do want to just give you a few general updates and to first thank you for your patience. It's obviously been a very interesting process of making sure that we are adhering to all the strictest guidelines with regard to social distancing and public health to provide the most safe environment for our students and Hofstra community members this fall. So we've appreciated your patience as we've confirmed all of the processes that I think will put us in the best position to make this a great semester for you here at Hofstra. A great deal of work has gone into making sure that the campus is safe for your return. And we want you to know that we've thought of everything and done our best to make sure that we've come up with solutions that will make the campus as safe and engaging as possible. A small group of vice presidents and deans that was led by our provost and our student life staff, president's office, facilities and operations, and the clinical health staff have been overseeing our Safe Start website, which is a hugely important resource for all of you to be using to make sure that you have all the up-to-date information as it pertains to how COVID-19 related policies have impacted our campus and our student experience. So we're going to be encouraging those of you who have specific questions regarding COVID-19 to make sure that you are mindful of our Safe Start website, and to also be aware that there are a couple of campus life forums being hosted on Thursday and Friday of this week, August 6th and 7th, which will speak more to the student life experience rather than the academic experience. We want you to know that we've tried to be as flexible as possible in terms of coming up with our plans to make sure that our students are prepared for this fall. If you're coming to campus though, you'll need to make sure that you are aware that all students will be wearing masks, all students, faculty, and staff, anyone on campus indoors in our classroom environments and buildings will be wearing masks to comply with public health guidelines. There will be other policies regarding residence life and students' mask requirements in the residence halls will be different if you're with your roommate in your specific space, and you'll be getting instruction there and can also visit the Safe Start website for information. But just so you know, we have been working carefully to make sure that classroom sizes and spaces have been outfitted to provide appropriate social distancing, to make sure that we're keeping capacities to appropriate levels per the public health guidelines. And so as a result, Hofstra has needed to spend significant time this summer evaluating all of our fall course offerings to make sure that they are in spaces that can adequately accommodate the size and needs of our students. And we'll be talking to you in a couple of minutes about how the modes of delivery for many of our courses have changed to be able to allow for an optimal semester under the guidelines of our COVID-19 related policies and recommendations from the state. So we'll give you information on that in just a moment. If you're having any issues or concerns regarding your fall semester schedule, there certainly will be opportunities for you to connect directly with the Center for University Advising later this month, or to work with your faculty advisors as appropriate if you need to discuss any of your upper division requirements. We want you to know that we are available, and we'll be giving you more information on how to best connect with us later this session. We also do want you to know that the university is prepared should there be any cases on campus, and that the university has the ability to respond professionally and with the best public health protocols. And the university's gone above and beyond what the CDC and state requests have been in terms of testing and tracing. We'll be working closely with Nassau County Department of Health, and we've got on-campus housing for quarantine and isolation and are working with Northwell Health on testing in our student health center, as well as surveillance testing for regular segments of our population. While this forum is on academic issues, I again want to encourage you to take a look at our Safe Start website for more information regarding questions that pertain to testing or other COVID-19 related matters. With that all being said, I would like to start our panel discussion, and I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint to share with you. And as we're sharing, we encourage you to start posting your questions in the Q&A for us so that we're able to start responding. So I'm just going to pull up the PowerPoint and look forward to giving you some helpful information. Okay. So I hope you can all see this PowerPoint on the screen. It's just a reminder of who we are, Mark Oppenheim, David Rooney, and David Renz. And certainly we all are available for follow-up questions after this session. And we will post our email addresses in the chat before the end of this session. Because I am the Dean of the Center for University Advising, and we will be a primary place for you to work out any questions or concerns about your fall schedule, I want to remind you all that the Center for University Advising is located in 101 Memorial Hall. Our entrance is on the side facing Hempstead Turnpike. While we will be physically in the office starting next week, the majority of our services will remain accessible to you virtually. And so we want to encourage you to keep in touch with your advising dean, call or email us if you need to request an appointment or to find out more information about our drop-in or quick question hours for next week. If you're unsure who your advising dean is, and I'm hoping you all know that, you can find that out in your Hofstra portal by visiting the menu button, clicking on the student tab, and visiting the Meet Your Team. You'll also find information about your other advisors in your major department and in the Division of Student Affairs. But your advising dean's information is listed there, and we encourage you to make note of that because we're going to be seeking to help you along the way. I mentioned earlier, and again want to reiterate, the importance of every one of you visiting our Safe Start website for specific information about our campus response to the COVID-19 related issues and concerns. And this will be a great place for you to get answers about testing, about campus life, and about how to approach the semester overall. There's a ton of information about every department you can possibly think of. And it's being updated on a daily basis. So please check regularly. That's hofstra.edu/safe-start. I wanted to reiterate for all of you that the advising model at Hofstra is a dual advising model. And that's why both Dean Rooney and I are here to talk to you, because all students have an advising dean from the Center for University Advising who gives a lot of general and structured guidance about how to pursue your degree in the DeMatteis School. However, you also have a faculty advisor who is an expert in the discipline, who also understands the degree requirements, but will give you additional insight into how to prepare for your desired career or graduate studies, different prerequisites to pursue, co-curricular and pre-professional opportunities that would be important to get involved with throughout your studies. So just a plug to make sure you're taking advantage of utilizing all of the resources that you have. One of the important things that we wanted to make sure you are aware of is that sometime later this week, it could be as early as tomorrow, all students will be receiving an email from me and the Center for University Advising with an updated copy of your fall semester schedule. We're doing this because while many of you have been monitoring your schedule, we want to make sure you can clearly understand where you're at in terms of the days, times, and modes of delivery for your fall semester courses. Many of you registered for courses months ago prior to us confirming our plans for this fall semester, and as such, there have been changes to your schedule. So we need you to be very mindful of what your schedule looks like and whether or not you're in a course that is in person, hybrid, or online. And I would like to take a moment just to describe for you what the differences are in terms of the different modalities that you will be utilizing for your courses. So we define the face-to-face and in-person as classes that will typically meet in person as a full group. So an in-person or face-to-face class is your traditional class, and a good number of courses will meet in that format this fall. However, what's different is that there are a significant number of fall courses that are either hybrid or online. And a hybrid is a combination of an in-person and an online course. Hybrid courses meet as a full group during some meeting patterns and either online synchronously or asynchronously during other meeting patterns. And we'll answer your questions specifically about that in just a couple of minutes. Additionally, there's a specific type of hybrid called AB. And the AB is a combination of in-person and online, where half the class meetings in person take place during a specific meeting pattern, with one half of the class in during one particular day, and the other half meeting during another day. And those can either be online synchronously or asynchronously in terms of the days that students are not physically in the classroom. This AB is a specific category of hybrid. Lastly are the traditional online courses, which meet entirely online. Online courses can take place either synchronously or asynchronously. And I just want to highlight that synchronous learning online is online or distance education that happens in real time, as opposed to asynchronous learning, which is through online channels but without real-time interaction. So when you get the email later this week that has an updated copy of your fall semester schedule, it will have a reminder of what these modalities mean, and it will include in your schedule the modes of instruction for each course, whether it's face-to-face, hybrid AB, or online, so that you'll have a really good sense of what to expect when you arrive to campus for courses on the 24th. Lastly, before we open up the Q&A for your questions about academics in the fall, the email that's going to go out will also include at the very end a link that allows those of you who are planning to study remotely this fall for any COVID-19 related reason to let Hofstra know that you will be studying remotely. What that will do is it will allow us to confirm that you'll be remote and to communicate with your faculty your intent to study remotely. While we have worked hard to accommodate most courses this fall, should a student need to study remotely, for some courses, specifically labs or hands-on production type courses in our Herbert School, remote learning might not be an option. So if you are studying remotely, let us know, and we will give you feedback. And scenario, we will guide you through identifying appropriate alternatives for the fall, should you be in any courses that cannot be accommodated remotely. But in general, we anticipate being able to accommodate all students with allowing you to progress toward your degree this fall as a remote student. So we're gonna wait for you to fill out that form so that you get specific feedback from your faculty. I'm going to now invite you to share questions, and I'm gonna be answering these questions with you and with Dean Rooney and David. We're all gonna be taking turns answering these questions. And before we do, I don't know if either David had anything else they wanted to add.
Yeah, so with the Department of Engineering and the Department of Computer Science, again, like Mark has indicated, there have been a number of meetings of faculty and staff over the summer to ensure smoothest transition to the fall semester. And as a consequence, I mean, the vast majority of you are going to see pretty much the same as what you would have expected to see in a fall semester, but the big difference being that when you report to a given class, you might find that half your classmates are not there on a Tuesday, and then you aren't there on the Thursday, but the other half of the class is. On the other hand, the university has been outstanding in accommodating all of those who want to teach full face-to-face. I'm one of them. So I have a class of 30 people, which normally I would teach in Weed Hall. Well, they found me 310 CV Star that can accommodate 30 people plus me. So it's a slight change of venue. You may have to exercise your legs a little bit more going across campus to various different buildings, but we certainly, you may be pleasantly surprised at the number of your classes that are still full face-to-face.
And I just want to jump in quickly to say that, with everything that's going on, with all these changes that are going to be happening to your schedule and all of the different, forms of learning and modes of learning, that in the Center for Academic Excellence, a lot of the things that we kind of stress all kind of hinge on time management and organizational skills. And that this semester in particular, it's going to be quite important to make sure that you're having, those discussions and making sure that you're managing your time in such an efficient way, so that way you're staying on top of all of these different changes and these different formats of learning, and that you're regulating yourself in a way so that you can be as effective and successful as possible this fall.
Thank you very much, Dean Rooney and David. So we're going to begin trying to start answering your questions. And the first question is actually regarding books. Will the bookstore be mailing books, or will they have to be picked up? I'm actually going to share in the link for you, actually share rather in the answer, the link for our customer service for the bookstore. We haven't been provided with any direct information about how the bookstore is handling that process. So please take a look at the contact information that I just shared in response, and that will allow you to send a direct question to them to get feedback immediately. Our next question: when will we know how each of our classes are going to be running this semester? For example, a hybrid, online, in person. So you will actually get an email, as I referenced a moment ago, sometime likely this week, that will include a summary of your schedule and the associated mode of instruction. While you're waiting for that email, though, you could actually go to your Hofstra portal and visit the student schedule link on your portal and take a sneak peek at what your schedule looks like, because that information is up to date in your portal. You'd need to use the student schedule version because that one includes the mode of instruction. If you use the concise schedule, it does not include that. But you would be able to see if you're in a hybrid, an AB, online, synchronous, asynchronous, or in person if you go on the portal right now. But you'll be getting that information in an email later this week. That goes again for the next question about hybrid or online classes. That will be reflected in your actual schedule under the mode of instruction. Please keep in mind that you should be getting more specific guidance from your faculty as the semester begins. You know, if you're in an AB course, you'll find out what the rotation is, what the expectations are. So this will give you a general sense of the outline, and then you'll be getting information as you normally would from your faculty at the start of the semester to confirm the syllabus information and the overall structure of the course. We have a question for international students that do not live in the USA and will take the fall 2020 online. Taking into account the time difference between countries, can we have our classes be asynchronous? So that is going to depend on your specific major and program of study and the courses that you need to take, because some departments have a combination of synchronous and asynchronous online courses. Additionally, if you're being accommodated for remote learning as a student who's international, you may also be having specific conversations with your faculty regarding whether or not there are any appropriate accommodations for your specific situation. So it's going to very much be on a case-by-case basis. The best thing for you to do is to submit the official request for remote studies when the email goes out later this week. And that will allow for communication to your faculty so that they're aware of your intent. And that will allow you to have conversations with your faculty directly about their specific courses. In your case, I would actually encourage you to send a note to your professors today, just introducing the fact that you intend to be studying remotely this fall, and to say that you're going to submit the form, but you would appreciate any immediate feedback they have regarding how the structure may be for you. This is a very fluid process. Faculty have recently learned whether or not classrooms are outfitted with various additional technologies like lecture capture. So your faculty are currently also learning how to best accommodate you. So we do ask you to send those emails, but to be patient as they confirm the best way to proceed. But I would encourage you to fill out the form immediately and to send a note to your faculty just to introduce your intent to study remotely this coming semester. I don't know if either of you have any additional advice. The next question, what if Governor Cuomo says remote completely for fall semester? Would you revise labs to accommodate remote learning? So, you know, I'm going to invite Dean Rooney, but just to clarify, you know, what's being asked is, what if we end up in a situation like we were in the spring where we're required to go completely remote?
Yeah, so obviously we've been through this experience once already. We were, caught in a sense unawares on whatever it was, March 9th or so, with the closure of the university. And of course, both in engineering and computer science, we had scheduled many spring semester lab courses. And those lab courses had to go on. They didn't stop. And in that case, the faculty had to kind of scramble a little bit to ensure that the required lab subject matter was covered in one way or the other. So I don't think that's going to be a worry this time, because we've already been through it once. Many of the labs that were offered in the spring are the same labs that are being offered in the fall. And now everybody's fully prepared for that eventuality. Obviously, it's not the most desirable experience. I mean, in particular, in the case of let's say mechanical engineering labs, where there's a lot of equipment, whether it's in the fluid mechanics lab or the heat transfer lab or the materials lab, that not only are you supposed to know the theory of what happens and in the real world what happens, but you're also supposed to be able to know the measurement techniques, what can go wrong with a particular measurement technique. So that's all part of the educational experience. Now, that particular part where you put something in and put the wrong sensor in, or the sensor is reading badly, that's not going to happen, obviously, in a virtual lab. And there are virtual versions of all these labs out there. In computer science, most of the labs can be run virtually. The one drawback there is in the cybersecurity area, where the whole war room has very specific software, and it's not tied in with the regular network on campus, because it has to be sort of set off as a war room. But even that, I was talking to the head of the computer science department a couple days ago, and he said they can get around that through students having access to VPN, unless, again, you happen to be in an international area where that isn't allowed. But most of the computer science labs can be run virtually. All of the engineering labs, if absolutely necessary, because of circumstances, can be run virtually, but it's not optimal. So hence, we sent to the provost's office on Friday a list of those courses where, assuming that the university is not closed down, okay, which is obviously what we're all hoping for, what we're all kind of expecting, that there are these particular classes that we very strongly advise that they have a large or total in-person contact. And those, again, would be primarily the mechanical labs, and ideally the electrical labs, and one or two of the computer science labs that I can think of. So the short answer is yes, if everybody's forced to go online, can be done. You're going to lose out some of that experience, a very beneficial experience in a laboratory environment, but it'll still be run. You'll still apply many of the concepts. You just won't have the hands-on work of fixing a leaky valve or things like that.
Thank you, Dean Rooney. As you continue to submit your questions, I wanted to invite David Renz just to let you all know about how the Center for Academic Excellence plans to engage students at the start of the semester.
So yeah, like Mark was saying before, as far as reaching out and being in touch and getting involved, we are going to be doing similar things and reaching out and trying to get in touch with as many students as possible. We are also going to be on campus starting next week, but we are going to have the ability to have in-person meetings or virtual meetings, whatever is in what you would prefer. We're trying to give students the option to have a meeting with their success advisor in whatever way they are most comfortable with. Additionally, we house the undergraduate tutorial program, the largest one on campus for those of you that don't know, and we are going to be running the tutoring, though, in a virtual manner this semester. So if any of you were here last semester and participated in that and had to utilize any of the tutoring, you saw kind of how the tutoring shifted, especially for those natural science requirements that many of you need to take, the biologies, the chemistries, the physics, how they shifted from group tutoring in person into a group tutoring method online. So a lot of the tutors, luckily now last semester, had that experience, and they were able to succeed greatly in that experience, and now they're able to bring it to you in a different and in a more expanded way this fall virtually. We are still working with the Math Tutoring Center to see how they are planning on bringing things. I'm figuring, I haven't heard directly from Dr. Mamo yet specifics on it, but I believe that they'll be probably offering both at least virtual and possibly virtual and in-person tutoring as well, and they run that up to calculus 2. So again, there's a lot of resources available to you on campus and virtually this semester. You know, our goal is, again, just to help you all work through this and make sure that you have the best results that you can possibly get, and that you have the experience that you're hoping to have this semester and going forward while you're here at Hofstra.
Thank you very much, David. I wanted to let all of you know that something else that's new on the Hofstra portal that's connected to the schedule changes with the modes of delivery is that as of this morning in the lookup classes section, you can now search by attribute and type and ask for courses, all courses that are hybrid or all courses that are online or all courses that are face-to-face. So thanks to our registrar who were able to add a search feature that you can search by modality, so that if, for example, you're in an elective for next semester and it is a face-to-face course, but you'd rather have the flexibility of a asynchronous online course, you can actually run a search through your portal for all history courses that are asynchronous online or all histories that are synchronous online. That's going to be announced, that function, when we send out the email later this week with your schedules. But again, all of you on this call can hop onto the portal and start doing that searching, because if you're in courses that are face-to-face and you need to be accommodated for remote learning, we're going to work with you and your faculty. But if you decide that you'd rather replace a course yourself with a face-to-face with an online, you can do that independently by way of your portal, as long as you have your alternate PIN number if you're a new student, or just doing it on your online as a continuing student. I also want to remind everyone on this Zoom that every semester, students have through the end of the first week of the full first semester, the first week of the semester, to make program changes online via the Hofstra portal with no fees or penalties, assuming the courses you want to add are open. That's a big assumption, but if you choose to tweak your schedule, August 30th is the deadline to make those changes through the portal and without any fees. Program changes are still possible in September, but they would require that you get approval of faculty, and there generally is a $25 program change fee starting the second week of the semester. So keep that in mind. I also want to point out that the university is required to be very rigid with capacities because of our public health guidelines. So in the past, if you emailed Dean Rooney or Dr. Perzer or Dr. Krish, and they might over-enroll a section by one student if there was room in the class. They don't have the privilege to do that because of our strict capacity maximums and social distancing guidelines. So it's important for you to keep in mind that closed and full classes will have little flexibility this cycle, because we need to be making sure we're adhering to the prescribed guidelines. And Hofstra is adhering to the most rigid social distancing, and there will be 6 feet separation between students, a significantly reduced course capacity sizes, to make sure that we're creating the most safe environment for our students and faculty.
I just pop in with this one more thing before we get to the next question. Just to let you folks know that our co-op program is still, operating. It was not curtailed in any sense by what happened to the university. So we had a number of students who were doing the co-op, who started in spring and are finishing up at the end of this summer and coming back for this fall. And then there was another cohort that started in the summer and will be gone for this fall. And I just had a meeting, in-person meeting yesterday in Weed Hall yesterday with both Dean Urbani and Phil Coniglio as the director of that program. And we discussed, among other things, we're going to send out another broadside to the 200 companies on our list of partners to see, who is exactly hiring now, who cannot be hiring now, because obviously some of these companies are under various different constraints as well. But there are other sets of companies that are still begging for co-op students. So if you are at that stage, where you're a rising junior now, or even going into your senior year, definitely stay in touch with Phil Coniglio. It's actually a better opportunity than ever before to get your self positioned in a company, even if it means staying the extra semester it takes to graduate, because that's a virtual guarantee of a job offer from that company when you graduate. So, in the past, the C's 100 course required your presence at in-person lectures. Obviously, all those executive speaker series lectures are online now. That makes it easier for you. We had a couple of tremendous ones this summer on really topical things that drew large audiences. One on airplane safety, and one on the US and China competing for 5G dominance, and one on the pharmaceutical industry and how they're handling everything in the COVID crisis. So that was our executive speaker series during the summer that we hope some of you were able to listen in on some of those. But it's such a convenient way to have access to these really top-notch speakers. Just click, join, listen, ask a question if need be, and in doing so, if you're in the C's 100, you'll thereby have fulfilled part of the requirements for that non-credit bearing course that will be the stepping stone on into getting your co-op position. And likewise with the job interviews and all that, the job interview practices that we work with our career center people on, obviously that's all going to be available to you online. So it's actually even less effort to get into the C's 100 and then to be ready to step into the co-op world afterwards. Obviously, all the once you get that phone call from the company though about the interview, then it's all in your hands. But we really make it. We've always made it for the 5 years we've had the co-op program the optimal experience for our students. And that Phil Coniglio really paves the way for you in such a diligent manner.
Thank you, Dean Rooney. That's extremely helpful. One more question we have here. What if my school fee, and I think they mean tuition, is 2 weeks late, but before the 24th? My response would be, if any of you are having a hardship related to the current pandemic, or just kind of resolving your remote learning versus your on campus, and there's an issue with getting your payment in before the deadline, please send me an email with your name and a number and a little bit of information. I just posted my email in the chat, as did David Renz. Please send me a note with your name and ID, and I can follow up with the Student Financial Services to get more information to see if there's any way to advocate for the late fee to be waived. If any of you have a concern about a late payment fee, feel free to send me an email, and I am happy to try and advocate. The university is doing its best to be as flexible as possible under the circumstances, and so I am happy to share a note of advocacy, which hopefully will be well received. Do we have other questions for Dean Rooney or David or myself about the fall schedule, about major related campus resources, about advising or tutoring? we'd be happy to answer that. I'll also say that in the email that's going to go out shortly to students, there will be an invitation to visit with our advising team for quick question drop-in hours that will take place on Monday, August 10th, between 12 and 4 p.m. So you'll get information about that opportunity in the email that's going to come forward. And the way that we're handling virtual drop-ins will be through Zoom. So as you check in with us in the main area of the Zoom room, our team will be putting you in breakout rooms with an appropriate advising dean to answer your questions and to give you some assistance. But I do want to encourage those of you who are comfortable with the portal, your degree audit, and the overall advising process to take steps independently if you know how to do that, because each of you will be empowered to make adjustments. But certainly if you have questions or concerns about that process or hit any roadblocks, we absolutely want you speaking with your advising dean in the Center for University Advising. If we don't have any additional questions, I'll just invite our panelists to give some closing comments, and then we will encourage you to keep an eye on your Pride email daily, hourly, if not, and also to be checking the Safe Start website every day, and I'll place a link for that. But I'll invite David Renz first, and then Dean Rooney to jump in.
Sure. In closing, I just want to say that I really do look forward to working with each and every one of you this semester. Usually all students who are in the DeMatteis School fall under myself as a success advisor. When you log into the portal and you go on that Student Success Connect app, you should be able to find me in your success team, and you can reach out to me via email, or you can schedule appointments with me through that Student Success Connect app, and we can work on, having conversations and working to help you develop the strategies to have the most success this semester. If you have any questions at all about tutoring, about resources, about strategies and study strategies and time management and organizational skills, please let me know. That is why I'm here, and I will probably be reaching out also throughout the semester just to stay in touch and let everybody know, how things are happening and what is going on in the Center for Academic Excellence. If you don't know, we're also located on the 3rd floor of the Axon Library. There's, some, obviously the spacing issues are a little bit different this semester than if anyone's been there before and utilized that space either for tutoring or studying. We might still have some spaces for independent study, but it was very much like a shared space kind of group study area. And now this semester it's going to be a little different, but we still encourage students to utilize it. It's a newer space. It's a nice clean space on campus. And if you have any questions, my email address is in the chat, and feel free to reach out, and have a wonderful rest of the summer. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so just a word again about our school and my conversations with various members of the faculty and administration and so forth. If you happen to be an incoming freshman studying engineering, I think you're in for a particular treat this fall because Mauro Caputi, who many of you would have interacted with during your summer advisement process, his class, because of size, had to move from his regular lecture in Monroe Hall to an even better venue, John Cranford Adams Playhouse, which I believe is a huge seating capacity. And so I was talking to him yesterday, and he was talking to the individual who's in charge of all of the events that go on there. Talking about the lighting and everything else that he said that he can do for Professor Caputi that will make Professor Caputi not want to go back to his old haunt afterwards. So I think, if you are one of those students, it's going to be quite an interesting and enjoyable presentation for his, it's a very entertaining class to begin with, but even in this venue, it's going to be even more exciting for you. And, a lot of our faculty are in already, and they're doing preparations various different ways. I know one faculty member has already, even though he's going to be teaching in person, he's actually also already recorded all of his lectures with really professional assistants. So they look great. So I mean, that's somebody who's really going the extra mile. Not only has he recorded things for the fall already in completion, total course, but he's also going to be teaching in person. So if you happen to be one of those international students and you're taking that particular class, you have it right at your fingertips. And again, with the lecture capture, I mean, I just got off teaching a second summer session class in strength and materials. I had 8 students, and it's a lot of work to prepare for it, even though I've been teaching the course for many, many years in person. But all those students, one of the students was in Boston, and he was working during the day. My class was taught in the morning. He'd have access to it in the evening because all the lectures were recorded. These are 2-hour lectures too. So I think that you're going to find whatever mode of delivery a particular class has, that our faculty has really been extremely conscientious in preparing. As I said, everybody was caught off guard in March, did the best we could. Some people, I think, did an outstanding job, but I think you're going to find the job is even better if you're a continuing student, and if you're a new student, like I said, it should be a very enjoyable fall semester for you.
Thank you to both of you. As I wrap, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today and for your important questions. We want you to continue to share your questions. So certainly if you have others that come up, please, depending if it's something that advising can help with, email me. If it's specific to the DeMatteis School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, then Dean Rooney would be a good contact. And if it's something about our Center for Academic Excellence, whether it's success coaching or our fall tutoring, then reaching out to David would be a fantastic option. As we conclude, I want to remind you all that the Center for University Advising has drafted a helpful email that is set to go out later this week, which will include a reminder of the modes of delivery for your fall courses and embed a copy of your most up-to-date schedule so you can be mindful of what your expectations are. But we also know that some of you are going to need to study remotely this upcoming semester, and you've been waiting for an opportunity to officially declare that. In the email, there will be a link for you to officially let Hofstra know that you'll be studying remotely this fall. And again, that will allow for us to review your schedule and for you to have engagement with either your faculty or the Center for University Advising to confirm whether your courses are all seamlessly accommodated or whether you need to make some adjustments to your fall schedule to appropriately prepare for a fully remote semester. In any case, we are prepared and eager to assist you with this process and very optimistic that we'll be able to make the best of a very difficult situation in terms of those of you who are not going to be able to make it to campus this fall. So in the email, you'll also be encouraged to join us in the Center for University Advising for quick question hours on August 10th if you need some specific guidance with updating your schedule. And lastly, please check your Hofstra email because yesterday you all received a note about 2 new campus life forums that are going to be offered later this week for you to find out more information about how the student experience has changed and the campus life experience has changed to accommodate our public health guidelines. So on behalf of David Renz and Dean Rooney, myself and the Center for University Advising, thank you for joining us. Please continue to share your questions and know that we are working tirelessly to prepare for you to return to campus on August 24th or to commence or begin your studies remotely on the 24th for those of you who won't be with us in person this fall. And we look forward to a fantastic semester together. Thank you all so much and have a great day.